This problem tests your ability to work with Section 1244 stock and also your knowledge of capital loss deductibility in a year when you've also got some capital gains. So it talks about Mary being a single taxpayer. She bought some stock which already you've been told qualifies as Section 1244 stock. So it tells you what her cost was, and it gives her two options that you're dealing with, whether she sells the stock all this year or half this year and half next. And the first part of the problem has you run through what will happen to her if she sells all the stock this year, and then the second half deals with whether she sells half this year and half next. So they've kind of given you a template down here, putting her current year salary of $80,000 in there, and then what they're asking you to deal with is whether or not she has an ordinary income or loss from the sale of all of that 1244 stock. So she bought 10,000 shares at a cost of $20 a share. That's $200,000 in cost. So she received the offer to sell the stock for $12 a share. $12 a share times 10,000 shares is $120,000. So 120 minus 200 is an $80,000 loss, which is under Section 1244. So under those rules, the question is how much of that loss can you deduct as ordinary and how much of it is a capital loss. And by rule, maximum for single taxpayers is $50,000 of 1244 loss that you can deduct as ordinary. So that's what this would be right here. You'd select ordinary loss and you type in $50,000. Then in the long-term gain and loss section right here, they're showing you that the $8,000 gain from other transactions is put down here, and then they want to know how much can she deduct of the remaining 1244 loss. Well, if $50,000 went right here, then the rest of the loss, which would be $30,000, would go here as long-term capital loss because she sold it way more than a year after she bought it. Okay, so $30,000 goes there, and then you have a net long-term capital loss, there it is, of $22,000. So that's her using the rest of the capital loss to offset this capital gain. Now the capital loss rules say that you can only deduct up to $3,000 against ordinary income. So she first used it to offset her gains, and then she can take $3,000 more of deductible net long-term capital loss. So if you get to use $3,000 that year, then that makes your adjusted gross income be 80 income minus 50 is 30 minus 3,000 is 27,000 in AGI, and that leaves a net long-term capital loss carryover of 19,000. Because she had 22, you can only use 3,000 per year to offset ordinary income. So that's kind of what they're asking you to handle. I think you can then finish up this first half by looking at next year. They bring forward the salary, more long-term capital gain. Now the question is how much of that long-term capital loss can she utilize against this gain, and then is there any more to utilize against ordinary income next year? So hopefully that gives you a good start on this problem. Please email me if you have any questions.